Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. Intel has told us there are at least 7.
Okay, I already see one. Give them. Okay.
They're the same picture.
Now, back to our regularly scheduled programming.
You're watching another LEGO Friends Next Chapter review. Today we're looking at Season 3, Episode 7, Comic Shop Lock-In. The episode begins with Leanne talking about Moon Pegasus with Nova and questioning what is the plural of Pegasus. Nova laughs and says Pegasi, and Leanne thinks it's fake. Leanne gets excited that the delivery is here and she tries to move it, but she is too weak to move it on her own. Nova tries and it was still too heavy. So they do it together and they move it slightly. And the top box falls and opens. Leanne unlocks the door and they were moving the box in. After the door closed, they then bump into the handle with the box and the handle breaks off. They were bumping into many other items until they got the box where it needs to be. Nova goes to get the next box, but then they see the door handle is broken. So Leanne tries to get it back on but failed. They're locked in until the comic shop owner comes back, but she's at a Comic-Con, so she'll be gone for the whole day. They think they can fix it with a toolbox, but it's at Leanne's house. Meanwhile, Autumn and Aaliyah were riding horses while Zach was biking at the same speed. While Autumn was sightseeing, Aaliyah and Zach were focused on their phones, but Autumn wants them to look, and Zach bumps into her. Aaliyah shows Autumn that she and Zach were watching the Comic-Con, and Autumn is pissed off. She wants them off their phones, so they put it away for the rest of the trip. And she gives them a bet that if one of them pulls out their phones, they have to clean the horse stable. So they go with her. Back at the comic shop, Leanne tries to get a citizen's attention to open the door, but he runs to get a comic and steals it without paying. Nova goes to call some people. Nova and Leanne got no response. They thought of trying to call Aaliyah, Autumn, and Zach, but they're in the woods. So Leanne tries to call them, but she has to send a voicemail. Nova grabs one of the swords, and Leanne thinks he's trying to break the glass. But it turns out her phone is out of battery, and she says that she can't break the glass because she'll get fired. Leanne then has the idea of rereading the Moon Pegasus comics again. Back in the forest, Autumn talks about her love for the outdoors, and Zach and Aaliyah are bored. Autumn goes forward for a little bit. Aaliyah and Zach try to sneak in phone time, but they get a bunch of notifications from Leanne and Nova. But she catches them and is pissed off, assuming they're looking at the Comic-Con again. But they say Leanne and Nova called them many times. Even Autumn had that many calls. Aaliyah thinks they're in trouble, and Zach doesn't get a response when he tried to call them. They listen to Leanne's voicemail, but it ends with her being shocked. So they rush to the comic shop. Meanwhile, Leanne and Nova were role-playing their favorite comic in the series, as Leanne reads it without noticing the phone call. They arrive knocking on the door. Leanne and Nova get scared, and Aaliyah, Autumn, and Zach enters in shock of the mess. Zach sees the handle and the door closes on its own. Nova goes to investigate, and Leanne is also scared, thinking that what is happening from the comic is real. Autumn, Aaliyah, and Zach go upstairs, and Leanne tries to convince Nova to not go, and the others question Leanne and Nova. They laugh it off and question how long they were there. Exhausted, they both say too long. They ask if any of them kept the door open. Zach says no and shows them the door handle. Leanne goes insane and everyone is locked in. Zach tries to put it on, but fails. Because the owner won't be back till tomorrow, Leanne suggests watching the Moon Pegasus movie and says it'll be a long night, and the others are in shock as Leanne and Nova laugh like crazy, and that's how the episode ends. Now it's time to share my thoughts. Let's start with the positives. The best part of this episode is that it feels like a mix of the Girls on a Mission episode's Unstoppable Friendship and It's a Mall World, with the Aaliyah, Autumn, and Zach subplot having them be off their phones until their horse ride is over, being similar to the original Girls, besides Olivia being at the spa with their phones locked in. And the Leanne and Nova plot of them being locked in the comic shop was like when the original Girls were locked in the mall. And this is special because Girls on a Mission is my favorite Lego Friends series. This episode reminding me of that series just makes me so happy. Though I wish Girls on a Mission wasn't canceled so early and didn't end on a cliffhanger. The two-story plot was used really well, even in the 11 minutes. Leanne and Nova's bond was great to see as usual. And when Autumn talked about the bet, it was a poop joke, but it's not even mentioned as poop. But it was still really funny though.
Pretty sure Spring ate too many grapes. She had a tummy ache yesterday.
And the scene where the random citizen steals a comic when Leanne was trying to tell him to get the door was funny. Despite the fact that he did something illegal and should be in jail, I actually laughed a little when I saw it for the first time. Now for the negatives. Autumn was a bit too strict when it came to Zach and Aaliyah looking at their phones, and jumps to conclusions the moment they got voicemails from Leanne and Nova, thinking that they were looking at the Comic-Con. Even though she does have a bit of a temper when it comes to people not enjoying what she wants them to enjoy, this was so out of character for her to jump to conclusions like that. And this episode ends badly, with Leanne, Nova, Aaliyah, Autumn, and Zach all locked in the comic shop for the rest of the night, going crazy. And also, those poor horses have to be left outside starving. Compared to It's a Mall World, where the girls get let out, this is one of the very few episodes of Lego Friends that ends badly. The other being Leanne's Magic Lucky Charms. But unlike that train wreck of an episode, it was a funny bad ending and not a creepy bad ending. At least Leanne and Nova will have some more fun till the morning. I thought this episode had the same charm as Girls on a Mission. The two subplots were well written, and I love seeing Leanne and Nova's bond. So I give this episode a 9 out of 10. Tell me what you think about this episode and stay tuned for Season 3, Episode 8.